I'm always amazed when I'm working with Laravel that something that I think um, isn't there, and it kind of annoys me, and then actually if I go looking I find that it is there. So one of the things that I've always found a bit odd is how when you're starting up the queue, um, so when you're just doing queue work, so it would always just load the default. It's a little bit simpler to see that if you run listen. So it just loads up the default queue, and I would, most of my apps that I would set up would have a default, a priority, an email, and a slow. And I'm always just a little bit worried that one time I'll set my job up and I'll forget to run one of the queues. And I always thought it was funny that there wasn't a way to actually load a set of queues. And of course, I've found that there's a way to load a set of queues, and it's always been there. So in Laravel 11, uh, it's slightly different to Laravel 10, but in Laravel 11, in your queues config file, down here under connections, the database connection, which is the connection I use, it's similar for the other connections. So here under queue, so this dbq value, if you add that to your environment file, so we'll put it here underneath the connection. And if you add default, we'll do them in the order. So priority, default, email, slow. And so now when you run listen, it runs them all. It automatically pulls them from that. You can obviously just hard code it, which you might want to do because it should be the same really for your testing and for your production. So you can just change it there. So instead of default, we can put in all of these here. So you can put that in there, and that has the same effect. So that's good. So I've just done I created a simple little command here that adds items to the queue, so we can see that running. So we'll just add a few items to the queue there. So we're going to add 5 items to the slow queue, 5 items to the default queue, 5 items to the email queue. And now when we run them, when we run listen here or work, either we can just let's do work. It'll run them all. So you can see there it's running one that's on the slow queue, one on the email queue, and on the default. So it's running them all, it's running them in the correct order. So yet again, another thing in Laravel that was there all the time without me knowing. Hope that's helpful. Bye.